Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Ace Farmer Kevo here on YouTube. It's been a while. I've been on Twitch for most of the time, gaming, sharing experiences, and having a blast. Links in the description for that. Today, my community has voted on a video for rating, so I'm going to go over that. Not today, it's been about a week, but I'm finally able to take and make the video. So I'll be going over some basic information over to some advanced information and combine them together and make sure that people know what to do for rating and going over some terms. First thing I'm going to do is go over some terms. One of them is going to be mirror trading. So mirror trading is taking your raids like this Krebos and battling it together and then trading it for another tier 8 Krebos. When you battle the raid together with another person, you share the rewards 50%. So it's one way in order to get some more materials that can drop from a raid, depending on the quality. And which leads me to the next point, which is using a great website that the game has actually made themselves. So I'm about to pull up right now, the playorna.com. And I went under the codex, and then I went to raids, and then you can see all the different raids by tier and by family. So for me, I'm going to go to the third horseman, which will be our example for today, and show you the different rarities and gear. The horseman gear, the hood is famed. The famed is the second highest rarity. Legendary is the highest. At famed, you would have to do 60% range in order to have a greater probability of the gear dropping. It's not guaranteed, but a greater probability. Similar with the weapon, the cloak, the boots, the chest, and last but not least, the adornment, which is the legendary one. Legendary ones have a 80% chance of dropping when you do 80% of the damage to it, or when you deal 80%, it has a higher chance of dropping. Now, that doesn't mean you should only look after the raids for the certain percentiles. If you want to take and mirror trade a lot of raids with someone, then it's better to do that overall because you'll be getting more materials. But another raid, or the lower tier one, which is common, can be done at 33% to have a chance for it to drop. And then there is the superior, which is the green aura, which drops at 50%. Thank you, Balin, for showing us about that. So let me take and close that out. And then the websites will show you what skills they have, and you can click on the skills to show what they actually do to you, which is a great thing to help you use immunity accessories in order to help you out. I'll be going over a rating build that I use quite often as a realm shifter. If I didn't just skip over it, there we go. I'm going to go realm shifter, Dorado, Blades of Finesse. This is my go-to class that I use for a few different reasons. One, it has starting war turns, and two, it looks cool and has a passive. So what I will normally do is I'll use a Briny Pendant and then a Ymir's Vithra Charm to help prevent me from some of the immunities or the ailments that are inflicted by raids, but most of the time this will give me some mana, which will help outbalance all the minus mana that I'm taking out from these gear here. So going into one of the raids, I'm going to battle a fourth horseman. So as you can see here, it has the same as the third horseman for the drop rarity of the things. But just to double check, we're going to then go to the websites and look up the fourth horseman to see if it is the same. It would help if I can actually spell, instead of fourth horseman, to final. So there we go, final horseman. The weapon, as you can see, is a legendary rating, and the symbol of doom is legendary as well. And then the rest of the gear is all fame. Now, believe it or not, out of all of my 472 horseman kills, let me minimize this, I have not gotten a 4th horseman scythe before, at least a good quality one. So today might be the day. Now, when battling a raid, what I would recommend is warding up first, and then buffing up your defenses. So I'm going to use Golem's Fortitude, and then to help me get 100% ward absorption, I'll use Divine Bastion 2, in order to make my 106,000 ward be my shield in order to absorb as much as it can possibly do. And I'm going to use an attack buff, another attack buff, but wait, another attack buff. The Mir's Vithra Charm helps me to prevent me from being petrified from the 4th horseman. And now I'm going to take and lower my health a little bit with Quad Edge. And then I'm going to use a Panacea to get this off, to kind of balance it out a little bit, get a little bit lower, and you can check out your stats and how much HP the boss has from the overview area by clicking on the top right. And if you wanted to change your dismantle drop, you can also go to options, scroll down here, and let's say I wanted to just get everything, so I wanted to turn off quality and tier. Or you can also just keep on the exotics and it'll keep all the gear that is an event exotic gear. But I'm going to turn off both of these just to show. Or I can do this. I can just turn off this one and then go and keep the tier off for a tier 10. So I'll keep all the stuff that I get that way. So now I'm going to be charging up my Ren daggers to beat this thing up. And it's battling me back. And now we'll see what I got. Now you can check ahead of time if you're impatient by going here and checking here. So I got the armor, the boots, the cloak, the hood, the symbol of doom, Proofs of Failing, which you get from defeating raids, a randomly generated jewel, I'm not even gonna try and bother how to pronounce that, and then silver, which is a material that it has. Now, even though the scythe was an ornate, not ornate, but a legendary drop rate, I didn't get it because you're not always guaranteed to get every single drop from the raid. But as you can see, out of the 6 different things that I got from here, I got 5. So that's pretty good rarity right there. What I would recommend for this event, mainly the Hippogriff raid or the Wind Tamer raid, so I'm going to go there for now, or the Griffin, the last Hippogriff. So this raid right here, it's very tanky, and it has a lot of different drop rates that it has, and a lot of different status immunities. In order to fill this out, you would have to take and inflict different, or attempt to inflict different status immunities to it. I'll post a website down below as well. That is a community-made website that shows all the different status immunities for the raids, in order to help out people with that. But for example, the Wind Tamer shield is a legendary drop rate, and I believe the Hippogriff eyes are, but I'm going to double check by going to the website. I'm going to type in the last, so we can get that. Or let's see, let's type in hippo maybe. Alright, so one thing you can do if you can't just find that through normal search routes is also going to the codex, going to items, and then I'm going to go to the tier 10, and then we're going to type in wind, because it has a lot of stuff in there for that. So as you can see here, it kind of shows the aura in game actually, or on the website without having to click on it. So you can see that the Wind Tamer Lance and the Wind Tamer Shield have that purplish aura behind it, while the Wind Tamer Shoes, the Wind Tamer Robe, and the Wind Tamer Hood have either a common or a green aura. And I click on the shield, which shows legendary. And then I can click on drop by to get immediately to the raid. And go over to the Hippogriff Eye, which is also legendary. So my advice is that if you're hunting for the shield, it's better to do them solo or to have a whole bunch of them to do it with someone else to have a greater chance of doing it, because as I showed with the Final Horseman, even though I did 100% of the raid, I did not get 100% of the items. I got roughly 80% of the drop rate, which is still not bad. And what I've been doing mainly, let me take and go back here. For most of my last Hippogriff Krills have all been through mirror trade or by doing together with someone else in order to make it faster and to guarantee that I have more rolls overall. And I have gotten all of these items below. Now, have I gotten all of them in the quality that I want? No, but I did get a good quality Wind Tamer shoes that I'm upgrading right now, and I have a legendary shield that's upgrading. Moving forward, now I'm going to go for a more advanced detail. In order to do that, I'm going to take and get a volunteer in order to take and help me out with that. So give me 1 minute while I get said volunteer ready. So give me 1 minute while I get the guy set up. So you invite this guy here. And when you join someone else's party, it also will show the raids that they have. You can summon the raids either public or private. Mine are mainly summoned privates, but I do have some around me that are summoned publicly through the donations of other wonderful people. So this is going to be a more advanced technique to do here, which is a very benevolent way in order to give resources over to someone else. So for example, the Yeti right here, actually let's not use the Yeti, we're going to use Krebos. So I'm going to battle a Krebos raid. If the other guy were to take and go over to his main class. So there we go. So I'm going to battle a Krebos raid with someone else. And I'm going to explain how the damage scaling system works after I get everything prepared and set up. Now, when you deal damage to the raid, it counts for you and for them together. But here's the big iffy part. If you happen to die as you deal damage and the other person is still alive in the raid, then it will transfer the damage over to them. So my goal is to attempt to one-shot this raid and perish at the same time in order to transfer the damage to DBZ Boy. And you may ask, why is this beneficial to you? Well, it's beneficial not necessarily for me, but for the other person if they're not able to take and do the raid and they summon the raids and they want you to take and help out with them. So one thing I'm going to do is use the Berserk Mushroom to help lower my health over time, and I'm going to have Mr. DBZ Boy just spam Bastion right now in order to take and help out there. Now, it's pretty difficult and challenging to do this, and that's why I regard it as more of an advanced tactic, because you have to know how much damage that you're going to do or have rough estimates, or the other person's going to have to take and start the raid that you damaged to help finish it off and do it again. So as you see right now, I have 5,000 health. So my goal is to get under 2,000 before I channel my final big blast attack. And so with this Defiant channel, it will put me under the 2,000 health range, or 1,500 to 1,900 range. The tick from that. So as you can see here, I have 11,1148 health. And now I'm going to use a mana potion. And now I'm going to fire off my attack. And this will most definitely take it out, doing the damage cap twice. As you can see, it says defeated, because I was defeated when the raid was finished. I did 19.6 million damage to it. But when you go over the overview here, it shows that DBZ Boy did the 19.6 million damage, and I did 33, and that was the damage that was done as I was taking and preparing to one-shot the raid, or take it out in one hit. As you can see, I still get some results from the raids, just not as much compared to the other person, which got majority of the rewards for doing the raid. So that is what I normally call, well, I'm going to call it now the benevolent sacrifice for the raid, where I sacrifice myself in order to do the damage for other people. It's mainly beneficial for third horsemen, for example, with the quality of the symbol of war being the legendary. I try and take and help make it faster by speeding through it by doing that. For newer players that need the symbols of war or other gear possible, whenever I'm doing a trade or just being generous or benevolent and giving away a lot of my raids to other people. As you can see, Mr. DBZ Boy raids spawned over mine. But yes, so we have the playorna.com in order to take and get the information about what the raid drops and what are the spells that it uses and the quality. And then you have your codex in order to take and see what you need to do for the raids in order to finish the codex for them. As you can see, I'm missing a good amount here from the Tier 5 Coven, which is only available towards Orniversary. Shout out to Coven, really cool dude. And you can see what they're weak to and they're resistant to as well. So you can see Coven is weak to Arcane but resists Dark and Holy. And then these are the gear and the spells that they use. If you have any other questions, you can take and check me out on my YouTube channel as well, or under the description, where I'll leave a link to my Discord and my Twitch channel, where you can find me there on Tuesdays and Wednesdays from 4 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, and on Friday and Saturday as well from 4 to 8 p.m. Now sometimes I'll be streaming on different days and different times depending on the events, but thank you everyone for watching the video. Have a great rest of your day/nights, and I will talk to you soon. Peace.